Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back with another action figure review. Today, another ThreeZero figure, and a figure that was probably one of my most anticipated figures of this year is the ThreeZero G.I. Joe 6th scale Cobra Commander. I was super excited for this figure. Um, got him from my local comic book store. They got him in, and I had a decent amount of store credits, so I think I paid nothing for this guy, technically. Well, technically I didn't, but I paid plenty. But yeah, saved some money on him, but that's okay. I would have paid full price for this figure anyways. Uh, I've been wanting a 6 scale Cobra Commander for a very long time. Sideshow Collectibles have had 6 scale Cobra Commanders available for a long time. And I've eyed their offerings for a while, but I am glad I held off on those because while they do look cool, and in some ways they have some cooler accessories than this figure, to be fair, but sideshow bodies that they use are notoriously bad quality when it comes to looseness of joints and whatnot. There's just some design features of those old figures I'm not a super big fan of. And just for the price I'd probably have to pay on the secondary market for figures of questionable quality, especially over the years, probably not worth it. So when ThreeZero initially did their first figure, Snake Eyes, the figure I wanted them to do the most, take a crack at, was Cobra Commander, and I'm so glad that they didn't take too long to bring him out. And I'm pretty happy with him. He's met my expectations, and my expectations were decently high, so pretty happy. But yeah, let's take a look at him. One thing I'll say right off the bat is the camera makes the blue look a little more vibrant than it actually is. His blue for his entire outfit is a decently dull blue. I've seen some people compare it to like if his outfit went through the wash a few times, and I can kind of see where they're coming from with that. Um, Honestly, I don't mind the color. Uh, I get a lot of people probably want a more vibrant blue. The more vibrant blue would be a bit more accurate to the original cartoon. But for a modernized, more realistic kind of take on the outfit, I like it. I like the more muted blue. I think it looks good, but that's up to you whether that's something that's a deal breaker or not. But taking a closer look, one thing that is super cool is on the promo pictures, the original reveal pictures, the visor looked like it was just painted silver, but they actually did go with a Vachrome, uh, full Vachrome visor, which I think looks so nice. You can see my face is reflecting it, but it actually reflects like pretty perfectly, and it just looks so cool. The retro classified Cobra Commander that's coming out later this year, which I'm also really looking forward to, also has Vachrome. So, I think it should always be Vachrome on Cobra Commander figures if we can do it. And I'm glad that ThreeZero ended up doing it. Helmet itself, I think it looks real nice. I like the design. It's just got some slight more detail, sculpt detail than, you know, the original design, but still is pretty much the original design. And you've got the white mark stripe there on the top. All looks really good. A little bit of gold there. You got the lighter blue tunic, or shirt rather, underneath. And you've got his normal tunic or shirt there. The little gold buttons. And you got the little string, like Officer Regal kind of thing going on. I always like when they add the little bits that make them look a little more regal. Kind of buys into the ego of the character a little more. But you got belts and some decent little weathering there. Some pouches that look good. And then he's got the little buttons on the back of the pockets there, which is cool. He's got the big gloves here, and I like that you got matte black for most of it, but you've got some glossy black for some of the other details, like the reinforced knuckles. I think that is a cool little detail. It does have a holster, and I'm actually kind of surprised they actually went with a pleather for the holster. Usually with these figures, and what kind of differentiates them from like Hot Toys, and honestly probably what makes them a little cheaper, is a lot of these straps and details, they're not pleather material, they're just plastic. Which I'm honestly fine with. That means they're a lot less likely to wear anytime soon, because I have figures that have pleather, like belts and stuff, that, kind of start to wear down a bit, but these won't do that. But I am kind of surprised they went with a pleather for the gun holster there, but it still looks cool. And you got the red stripe on the pants. The pants themselves, they're pretty basic, to be honest. And he's got the sheath for his knife with some nice gold paint and black. And the boots, same as the gloves, with mostly matte black with some glossy black to bring out some of the nice details there. And he's got some subtle weathering on the boots as well to make them look a little bit worn in, so that's cool. But not too much to talk about. It's a pretty simple design, honestly. He's got the big Cobra logo there, which looks real nice. And yeah, looks good. I like it a lot. In terms of articulation, pretty well articulated. He doesn't have as many issues as Destro figure I reviewed previously because he doesn't have weird seamless parts underneath or any weird padding, and he also has just looser fitting clothes. But you do have dumbbell joint in the neck. He looks up a decent amount, looks down a lot, pivots a lot, rotation, shoulders move all the way out. You can rotate them really far forward if you want. There's a swivel at the bicep there that moves pretty good. He does have a double hinge in the elbow that moves all the way, no problem at all. Doesn't have that springing like Destro had. And then you have the standard ThreeZero joint with a wrist swivel and then a up and down hinge. The hand just popped off, which isn't a huge deal, but it's just kind of annoying. There we go. Wasn't plugged in all the way. Torso can go about that far back. Just crunches forward just a little bit. It would have been nice to have a bit more forward movement in that crunch, but it's not terrible. Just a little bit of pivot. There's nothing too crazy going on there, and you can twist the torso a little bit, but not too much. And I don't want to force it, so that's as much I'm willing to move it. The legs, though, they spread decently, further than Destro's did. They kick out a lot farther, or a fair amount farther than Destro's did as well. There is a rotation at the thigh there, which moves pretty good. There's a double hinge at the knee, which bends in quite far. And you've got the dumbbell joint at the ankle that goes forward quite a bit, goes up. Well, it does pivot. This one just popped off. Does pivot pretty far, decently as well. This one keeps popping off though. It's a bit annoying. But yeah, articulation is pretty good. I've been able to get pretty much all the poses I want to get out of this character. So I say it's good. I like it. In terms of accessories, he comes with a decent amount of stuff. But I will say, like Destro, I think this figure could have came with a bit more. Hand options, you get the pair of fists, which he has in the box on him. You get a pair of trigger hands, one for each side. You get a pair of relaxed open hands, one for each side. And you get a pair of base scepter holding hands, one for each side. And then that's it. I do feel like he should have came with some more hand options. I think a big thing with Cobra Commander, he's fairly expressed himself with his hands. And I think maybe like a grasping, like clawed, like grasping hand would have been cool, and also a finger pointing hand would have been really cool as well. I don't know why. I thought this figure came with a pointing finger hand, but he doesn't. Maybe I was thinking about the classified figure or something. I don't know, but yeah, he doesn't come with that. I feel like maybe he should, but not a big deal. But it would have been cool. Does have a couple weapons. You do have the knife, obviously, because he has the sheath. It is painted and sculpted really nicely. Little red ruby or crystal there, what jewel on the end there, and the gold looks nice. The silver blade. You can't hold it. The packaging on the back shows him holding it with the scepter holding hand, and you can do that, but you gotta push pretty hard. Like, it's a tight fit, and it can be pretty difficult to get the knife in there. And I did it once, and I'm pretty concerned of the paint scuffing off of the hand of the knife, and I don't want that to happen. It looks really good. So I personally, even though it might not look quite as good, I would recommend using the trigger finger hands to hold the knife, because these ones you can heat up if you want, or even just flex them open to get the knife in. You can't do that with the scepter holding ones, because the mold, it's fused. The finger and the index finger and the thumb is fused together, so you can't spread open the hand. But yeah, you can hold it, or, which is how he's probably gonna be displayed for me, you can store it on his leg. It slides in just fine. It's a really tight fit, or not really tight, pretty tight fit. It's not gonna fall out. I'm a little concerned again. I'm hoping the silver paint won't end up scuffing off of if you're removing that knife from this sheath fairly often. I'm hoping that's not the case, but yeah, I don't know for sure. Time will tell on that. Although to be honest, it's probably gonna stay in there. I'm probably not really gonna use it in terms of display of him holding it. He also comes with a handgun. I'm not a gun aficionado, but I do believe this is a Mauser. It is painted pretty nicely, sculpted really well. There is no moving parts on it. There's no like removable magazine because you load the ammunition from the top, I'm pretty sure. And I think it's on like a little rack or something. It's not like a conventional clip like Destro's handgun was or whatever. But it looks real nice. If you can hold that, I will show that with the trigger hand. Works good as it's intended to. And pop the hand off. Plug the new hand on. I will say, I do wish with the ThreeZero figures, they gave each hand their own peg. They give you a couple, each figure comes with a couple extra pegs in case you break one, which is good, but I just wish they all had their own peg. It would make swapping the hands just a lot easier to do, honestly. But there you go. He's got the handgun. Looks really nice. Pretty big fan of that, but you can also store it. Take the hand right off again because we're going to use the other separate holding hand here in a second, but take the gun out of the hand here, and then we can take the top of the holster. It's a little finicky, but not too bad to get this in. Slide the whole gun in there, get the cover around the handle, and then put the little strap through the loop. And then there you go. You got the gun stored in the holster. You pretty much can't tell because it's completely closed off, but yeah, nice to have, always nice to have weapon storage. They could have omitted that. I'm glad they didn't. But now I'm gonna take the, where is it at here? Take the scepter holding hand. Plug that on. There we go. Takes some doing, but we did get it. Take the scepter holding hand. There, sure is the scepter. It's real nice, little, pretty ornate looking Cobra. There in gold, some red for the eyes, a little red jewel down there. It looks like it's got like a laser gun or some sort of nozzle in the mouth, and the fangs are painted silver too, which is nice. And you've got the end, but this one does actually come apart. I kind of wish the knife did the same thing, but this comes apart so you can just slide the handle in, put the end on, and then there you go. He's got the scepter. And I always like it when Cobra Commander comes with a scepter. Just feels like something he should always have. I don't know. And then last accessory, which is pretty cool, is he does come with a soft goods cloak. The cloak's real nice. I believe it's the one that he wears in the movie. And it's the black with the red on the inside. He's got the gold Cobra logos on the sides here. Looks real nice. And what's really cool is this is a fully wired cape, or pretty much. It's got a wire all the way down all of the sides. It's not on the bottom, but it is down the sides. So that's super cool. You can get some nice dynamic posing with that. It does attach via magnets. You have a magnet on the center at the top, just below the neckline of the cape. And then I think there's supposed to be magnets here at the ends as well. There's also these two really thick rectangular wires at the shoulder parts of the cape, because what you want to do when you're attaching this is you attach it with magnet, and the magnets kind of make sure it's not going to just blatantly fall off. And then you want to use the magnets in conjunction with the wires to kind of mold it around his shoulders to get that nice look of it sitting on the shoulders naturally and just securing it to him. So, you know, I have it kind of molded. I've already kind of messed with it enough. The first time you're doing this, you might have to futz with it a little bit to get it looking right. But once you do, you don't really have to move it again because you can just take it off and put it back on. So I'm just going to do that. We put the cape on here. Just pull this around. And like I said, you might have to mess with it a bit to get it to look exactly how you want it to. I think there's supposed to be some magnets on the front as well. However, there's a lot of fabric there, so they're not super strong. But you don't have to mess with it too much, and you can get the cape on there, and I think it looks really cool. Man, let's get him in like a pose, so I can kind of, you know, show you what I mean here. Do that, and then we can actually move the cape wire. So you're not gonna be able to do crazy dynamic stuff with the cape because, like I said, the magnets aren't like the mega strongest. So like you're probably not gonna be able to get it like flowing way up because it's just not gonna stay. But you can still move the wires enough to make it look dynamic in your posing and make your poses look more interesting, like just like that. Like obviously if it had no wires, it would just be draping down. But here you have it kind of flowing out, like it's kind of flowing in the wind a little bit, or like he's in motion. So you can do stuff like that, and I think it just looks super cool. Again, I'm always a big fan when they give Cobra Commander capes and whatnot. It's just something that feels right for the character. And that looks super cool. I'm very happy with that. But that's pretty much it for the figure itself. Like I said, I think it could have came with a few more hand options. I think maybe it could have came with a few more weapons too. Like he comes with a realistic gun. It would have been kind of cool if they included like a laser pistol to like reference the original cartoon and like the original toy. I think that would have been kind of nice. And then another thing, it's just a personal thing for me. It's not really something I would have expected, but I like it when Cobra Commander has a sword, and I think it would have been cool if he would have had like an optional like sword scabbard that you could take on and off the belts. Like if you don't want it, you can don't use it, but if you do, you can put it on. And he had like a sword. I think that'd be super cool. Nice little reference to like Resolute, and all that. I just like it when Cobra Commander has a sword. I don't know. And then the other thing is an interchangeable head sculpt to have the hooded look for Cobra Commander. Would have been super cool, but I can't expect it because Hasbro, ever since like ages ago, have been avoiding that look for Cobra Commander like the plague. I don't really know what the official reasoning is on it. My assumption is it's because you could maybe make the argument he kind of looks like a clan member. I think that's you're really stretching there. And it even makes less sense now because Hasbro, at the beginning of this month, by the time this comes out, it was last month actually, at the beginning of last month, they released their Marvel Legends Heinrich Zemo figure, which not only has a hooded head sculpt that looks very similar to Cobra Commander, but that character is actually a literal Nazi. But they won't give Cobra Commander his hooded sculpt. I don't really get it. But yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. I mean, I'd probably display him with helmet anyways, but I don't know. It would have been nice to have the option. So yeah, it would have been cool, but it is what it is. But I think all that's left now is just to do some quick comparison. So I guess first, just for fun, here he is with the classified figure. They haven't released the mainline retro figure yet, and I don't have the HasLab. So this is the best I got. But yeah, they're pretty different designs, to be honest. But this one does have like the kind of sword thing going on. I would have liked if they maybe did something similar. Maybe a more normal looking saber rather than the sword they used for this one. But yeah, still. And this guy has the hand options that I'm talking about, where I wish they would have included. He has this hand and he has the pointing hand that this figure doesn't have. And I'm pretty sure the Retro 1 Cup coming has those hands too. Here's the only 3¼ inch Cobra Commander I have. This is the Pursuit of Cobra one, which I still really like because he had the staff and he had the sword, which I thought was cool, and he had the cape. But they're kind of different designs. And then with a few other ThreeZero Cobra offerings, here he is with my previous review, Destro. And here he is with another Cobra character that I have and that I really like a lot. It is Firefly, who I think they did an absolute banger job on. And these all look super awesome together. I'm actually really happy to have these. I also have the Camo Storm Shadow, but these guys look really awesome together. Yeah, overall, I think Cobra Commander is awesome. I'm a bit biased. He's my favorite G.I. Joe character. He's half the reason I even like G.I. Joe, to be honest. But I think they did a really good job. I think he looks awesome. The design they went for is pretty much right up my alley, personally. I think the accessories are good, although he could have came with more. Articulation's great. I love they went with the vac chrome. Yeah, he's just really solid. If you're collecting the line, it's a definite recommend. It's Cobra Commander. And even if you're not really collecting the line, but you're just a Cobra Commander fan, or maybe you just really want a real nice version of Cobra Commander, and yeah, again, I recommend picking this one up. It's really cool. Is he my favorite of all the ThreeZero figures I've gotten that they've released so far? Subjectively, probably. If I had to get rid of all of my ThreeZero G.I. Joe figures but one, I would probably keep Cobra Commander. But I think objectively, Firefly is the best. Firefly is real good, and I think maybe even a little underrated. That figures, they kicked ass with that one. Anyways, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.